And thanks for joining me again on TED Talk Stamps. Today I want to give you some buying tips for buying stamps online. I know a lot of you may have just been, trading through the mail or just, picking up stamps here or there, and you haven't really, done any serious online buying. And there are some pointers I think you need to keep in mind when you do. And even if you're a, 20-year veteran of the online stamp buying world, I think you might find a couple helpful tips for you here too. So to start off with, I want to talk about condition. And I think you just need to be aware of the terminology just to make the most efficient use of your time while you're searching and buying. And these are the terms that you will find almost universally used among American stamp dealers anyways. Now, condition refers just to the state of the stamp physically, whether it's mint or used, hinged, unhinged, whether it has full gum or partial gum. And I have some slides here to illustrate the various conditions. So first, when we're talking about condition, let's look at mint never hinged, which is used in the Scott catalog, the Stanley Gibbons catalog. They refer to it as unmounted mint. In Germany and the Michel catalog, it's called Postage or Post Fresh. As you can see, the gum is totally smooth and there's no sign of ever having been hinged. And then coming down from there, we have mint lightly hinged or unused lightly hinged. And if you look carefully or within the red rectangle, you'll just be able to make out the impression of a hinge that was previously on there. Working our way down, and this stamp is unused HR or hinge remnant. As you can see, there's a little bit of hinge paper still stuck to the stamp. Now this stamp is not mint. It's, strictly speaking, you shouldn't use mint for anything except a never hinged stamp, except half of the dealers at least use mint for just any unused stamp. But strictly speaking, you should use the term unused. And if it's been previously hinged, as this one is, you use the term OG for original gangsta or original gum, whichever is more appropriate. So you see there's you can see a little bright square in there where the hinge was, and when the hinge was removed, it took some of the gum with it. Now, as long as you got more than half of the gum on the stamp remaining, it can be called original gum. Sometimes you wind up with a little more gum missing, like here. If it's half of the gum is gone or more, you'll see the term partial gum. Now we come to other factors that affect condition, which you need to know about. So up in the upper left-hand corner, that is a pulled perf. When the perforation tip has been pulled off down to the very bottom of the perforation, or sometimes even past the bottom and, into the stamp. And that's as opposed to on the bottom where you see a short perf, where you see that perforation is, that perf tip rather, is about half the size of normal ones. So that's called a short perf. On the left side you see the word inclusion. An inclusion is where some contamination got into the paper when the paper was being manufactured. It might be a particle of pulp or some other contamination that got stuck in the paper when it was being pressed out. That's not too bad of a problem unless you get some really large ones where the inclusion even shows through the front of the design. Up in the upper right, you'll see a thin. Now this is where the stamp got moist and was actually stuck to the album page, it appears. And when the stamp was removed, it took not only the gum, but some of the paper along with it. So that is a serious fault, a major fault. Below that, you'll see a paper adhesion. Again, the stamp was stuck to the album page, and when it was removed, it took some of the album paper with it. Then comes the matter of grading. Grade refers to strictly the centering of the design within the perforations of the stamps. And there, most everyone follows the Scott grading standards. And the Scott values that are quoted in the catalog are for stamps in very fine grade, which means that basically the stamp can be off-center on one edge, but the other three will be basically even all around. And then above that you have extra fine, in which case you have 4 almost perfect margins. And then below very fine you have fine to very fine, in which you will have 2 margins that are off compared to the other 2. Now there are several philatelic organizations, PSE being probably the most well-known professional stamp experts, that do certified grading of stamps. You send your stamps into these organizations and you can get the stamp certified as to authenticity, genuineness, make sure it's not a counterfeit stamp or an altered stamp or a repaired stamp, and to have the centering judged on it. And then you'll get a certificate back with a grade of, say, 80, very fine. The numerical grade 80 conforms to a very fine grade, and it goes up from there to 90 extra fine, and 98 superb, and 100 superb, mint, gem, outstanding, rarity. Now, the thing that you need to watch out for when you are buying stamps online is dealers overgrading their stamps. So don't just take the descriptions at face value. If they say this is very fine or extra fine, look at the stamp image closely if it's provided. But the main thing I want to talk about as far as grading is that some dealers use a program called Easy Grade. It's like a $60 software program you can buy and install on your computer, and it will measure the margins for you, calculate the ratios and whatnot, and then spit out a grade of very fine, extra fine, and so on. Now the thing is, HipStamp explicitly does not allow easy grade grading on the site to be used. I mean, you can mention you have an easy grade certificate, blah, 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 but you're not allowed to put, say, easy grade of 90, extra fine. You can't put that in the description. HipStamp only allows actually certified stamps from PSE, APS, and PF, Philatelic Foundation, and so on. They only recognize the grades given by those organizations. Easy grade grades they don't allow. For one thing, easy grade only measures centering, and the thing with that is the lines that are used, that you line up on the margins, on the design edge, and the perforation edges, they're adjustable by the user. So you don't know how accurate the user of the Easy Grade software was in setting up the lines. And the more important thing is that PSE, Apex, and PF, and all these other organizations, their grade is not based solely on centering, but on the overall condition of the stamp. How bright and vibrant the colors look, how even the perforations are, if there's any soiling, if there's any creases or tears, gum thins, or even paper thins on the face. So that easy grade is totally meaningless. Yet these dealers are pricing their stamps that have been graded by Easy Grade as if they were graded by these other organizations. And you are overpaying for any stamp that you buy based on an Easy Grade, because to sell it to a serious collector later on, they don't care what Easy Grade says. They want to see a PSE or an Apex or a PF certificate. And here I've got a couple examples of how some dealers overcharge for these Easy Grade stamps. Here I have two stamp listings. One says it was E-graded, and it's graded at XF93, which goes against hip stamp terms and conditions. Not only that, he's charging a price as if it was certified by one of the three organizations mentioned previously, $15 for a minimum value stamp. As you can see on the right, you can buy that stamp for 9 cents. Now, I will grant you, the stamp on the right doesn't have as good a centering as the E-graded stamp. Okay, let's find another one. Here's a 12-cent stamp, and I defy you to find any difference in the centering of these two stamps. Yet the dealer with the E-graded stamp wants to charge you more than 100 times more than the dealer for the other stamp. Now next comes the subject of images or scans of the stamps. Now I don't want to tell you not to buy stamps from any dealer who doesn't show you images. I will say that you're going to be safer and better off if you look for images with the stamp listings. But as you can see here, here's one page from one stamp dealer. And this page, I had the stamps sorted by price. These stamps are all $9, and he does not give one image for any of the stamps. How do you know what you're getting? Now here's an example of why you should insist on images with your stamp listings. Now this stamp, granted, it looks kind of tired already. It's it looks a little wimpy, but it's not bad. It's not awful. But luckily, this dealer had a scan of the back side of the stamp, and it looks like this. Now, do you want to buy that stamp? Maybe, if it's the right price, I guess, but I don't want to buy that stamp at any price. Now this next one shows the importance of having an image plus reading the dealer's description and comparing it to the image. Here the dealer says this stamp has a minor fault. A minor fault. So we have a tear, a closed tear, but a tear nonetheless, going through the center of the stamp, a piece missing out of the right edge, a blunt bottom left corner with some more stamp paper missing, and a pulled perf. Any one of these could not be called a minor fault. Taken all together, this is a piece of trash stamp. Okay, another thing to watch out for, though, with images are ones where the dealer has altered or enhanced the image to make the stamp look good, maybe even better than it actually does in real life. Here, this stamp has obviously been brightened. The stamp is unnaturally white, and that washes out any minor faults that might be on the stamp. If there's a crease, you won't see it. If there's any he's brightened it to the point where even any soiling doesn't show up. And he wants $1,300. He wants you to hand over $1,300 for this stamp when he's given you an artificially enhanced image of this stamp. On top of that, he's given you no back scan, so you don't know what the back of this stamp looks like. Almost as bad are the dealers who are too lazy to show all the stamps in the set. Here the stamps it's a set of 3 stamps, and they're stacked one on top of the other, and you only get a clear picture of one of the stamps. One more related picture here, which is not of a stamp, but shows the importance of having an image along with the product. I once bought this book off of eBay without a picture. Going strictly by the description, there was a small tear in the cover. Okay, well, the price of the book was fair for one that might have a small tear in the cover. So I ordered it, and when I received it, this is what the small tear looked like. Somebody had taken a razor blade, had scored across the middle of the cover, and just peeled the whole top layer of the cover off. And that's what the book looked like. The whole bottom half of the cover was peeled away. All right, now Now, another thing is to take a good look at the images that are provided. Here's a set from Portugal with a catalog value of $67 for which the dealer wants $40. He wants 59%. He's giving you a whole 41% off of Scott catalog value. But take a closer look and you'll see the top stamp. There's a pulled perf. You have short perfs on the third stamp along with a heavy smudged cancellation. The fourth stamp has a poor cancellation. On the bottom row, the third stamp, top right corner is no bueno, and you can see the last stamp also has pulled perfs that are actually going into the stamp now, not just to the bottom of the perf. So these are all pretty crappy looking stamps and not worth anywhere near 59% of Scott catalog value. Another thing you want to watch out for are misidentified stamps. This can be a problem if you don't have a Scott catalog or Michelle catalog or Gibbons catalog, if the dealer is using that particular catalog in their listings. Here we have a stamp of Denmark, the crown and numerals issue, and it's described as Scott number 25. It has a Scott catalog value of $15, and supposedly he is selling this at 90% off Scott catalog value for just $1.50. The only problem is that is a €4 value, as seen there. But the €4 value is Scott number 26. Which has a catalog value of only 50 cents. So you don't know if you're going to get the stamp described in the description or the stamp shown in the image. Here's another problem you'll find with dealers. Here's two sets, two different listings for Pakistan, numbers 24 to 43. Now the one on the left does say it is 43B, which is a variety of the major number 43 given on the right. But you see there's quite a difference in the price. And if we take a closer look, let's look at the left-hand listing. But first look at the right-hand listing. And like we said, that's numbers 24 to 43. Altogether, that's 20 stamps. Now, look closely. Let's open up the left-hand listing, and we'll see that there are more pictures, but there are only 18 stamps total in this dealer's offerings. So there are 2 stamps missing from this set. Number 30, which has a catalog value of $5. Number 37, which has a catalog value of $1.25. And then the 43B variety has a catalog value that is $30 less than the number 43 major catalog number that's included in the other listing. So when you take the missing stamps and the lower valued variety into account, that $45 doesn't quite look like the bargain it did before. Now, along with having stamps that are misidentified with the wrong catalog number, you can have listings where the dealer is giving you some erroneous, farcical even sometimes, catalog value. In this listing, the dealer claims that this set, Germany 118 to 132 used, has a Scott catalog value of $52.95. As you see in the gray text at the bottom of the listing, he's taking that from the 2022 Scott catalog. However, I looked in my 2017 Scott catalog, and it's listed in used condition for $26.95. In my 2024 catalog, it's listed at $28.20. It's highly doubtful that from 2017 to 2022, it went up to $52.95, and then by 2024 it had dropped back down to $28. So wherever he got this $52.95 value from is a mystery to me. And as you can see, if you use an accurate catalog value, his price is at 22% of Scott catalog, which is really the top dollar of what you would want to pay for this set. Now, this last section, this is my pet peeve. This really peeves me. And it's dealers who run fake sales. Now, as you may or may not know, Hip Stamp has a filter setting along the left side of the page where you can filter for various things. And among those is to show only stamps that are on sale. Or if you have a certain sale threshold, percent off level that you want to see, they've got two other boxes, show only stamps that are on sale for 25% or more off, or for 50% off or more. Of course, everyone wants a bargain, right? So a lot of collectors are going to go to that show 50% off sales. Thing is, a lot of dealers game the system. They will artificially raise the price of their stamps just so they can put a 50%, 60% off, which then puts the stamp right back at a normal everyday price that other dealers sell their stamps at. The worst ones are the dealers who will put a double or even triple catalog value as their so-called regular price, which is then slashed and shown to be 60, 70, even 90% off. And of course, that's a bunch of baloney. If you double the catalog value and then take 90% off and you're selling it now at 10% of your regular price, well, that's actually 20% of regular catalog value, and 20% of catalog value is a price you can find all day long at almost any dealer without having to, wait for a sale. Here's a fake sale. Supposedly his regular price was $120, and right now it's on sale at 65% off. Well, look at the catalog listing. The set has a catalog value of $52.80. I don't believe for 1 second that this dealer's regular price was $120. He just jacked the price up to $120 just so he could put 65% off and show a sale price of $42. So how does that price compare? Well, looky here. Here's an IPDA member who operates off of a code of ethics. And his regular price is $40 with no alleged sale. And the reason I bring up the IPDA is that, as you can see on the top listing, that dealer is an APS member. Well, I'm sorry to say, being an APS member does not mean you follow a strict code of ethics. The APS may want you to and may believe their dealers do, but as you can see here, it's no guarantee. Let's find another listing. Oh, look, here's one for 30 pounds or $38.50 US dollars. Also mint never hinged. So this rather puts the lie to that 65% off sale from the top dealer, doesn't it? So that's just a few of the pitfalls you need to watch for. And I think the main takeaway is just don't take the listings at face value. Verify the catalog number against the picture, verify the catalog value, and don't let the dealers take you for a ride. So with this knowledge in hand, I wish you good luck in your stamp bargain hunting. And until next time, this is Ted the Talking Stamp Collector wishing you all happy stamping.